Now on the local scene, last weekend the Garden City played host to the final Charles Tour event on the 2014 calendar, the John Jones Steel Harewood Open. After 3 rounds, the New Zealand professional Daniel Pearce held a 3-shot lead over fellow pro Dominic Barson, with Nelson amateur Ryan Chisnell a further shot back in 3rd place. On the final day, a number of players came out swinging, trying to take Pearce's lead. They were 5 times Charles Tour winner Doug Holloway, Harry Bateman and Martin amateur Lockie McDonald. Holloway made short work of the Harewood golf course, shooting a record equalling 64 to take the clubhouse lead early in the day at 5 under. Bateman and McDonald did their best to take the lead, both ending their tournaments on 7 under. Pearce, who struggled all day, was 2 over for his round and had relinquished his lead to Ryan Chisnell, who was 4 under for the day. And when they stepped onto the 18th, Pearce needed to make a birdie up the finishing hole to apply the pressure on the young amateur. However, it wasn't to be. He ended up making bogey down the last, leaving Chisnell to 2-putt his way to his first victory on the Charles Tour. And on the ladies' side of the draw, it was a 1-horse race for the silverware after Cambridge's Chantal Cassidy blitzed the field in the first 3 rounds to hold a 10-shot lead over Christchurch's Hilary O'Connor, with Munchin Kay in 3rd place. On the final day, Chantal extended that lead even further, shooting a 2 under par 70 to finish at 8 under par, 13 shots clear of Munchin Kay, who fired an even par round of 72. And speaking of the Charles Tour, now here to discuss not only the Harewood Open but the 2014 Charles Tour season is New Zealand golf manager Dave Mangan. Dave, welcome to Cordia Golf Focus. A very impressive list of winners this year, haven't you? You've had Josh Geary, Ryan Fox, Mark Brown, Doug Holloway for the 5th time, and an amateur getting in there as well. What does this tell us about the fields that you're attracting for the Charles Tour events at the moment?
Well, Brendan, first of all, thanks for having me. And I think it really spells where the Charles Tour is going and the likes that we are able to attract some of our best players in New Zealand. You know, this is really a tour which is a stepping stone and a pathway, and for the likes of Ryan, Josh and Mark to use these events as they build up to other events overseas is something that we're really excited about, and I guess there's something for the Charles Tour that they have been able to play in these events and then go on to succeed overseas. OK, it's now been going for the best part of 10 years. If my memory serves me correctly, you offered $40,000 when it started 10 years ago, so the prize money hasn't shifted. Is this an issue now for New Zealand golf? Would you like to take it to another level? Look, there's no doubt that we would love to see the tour grow in prize money. As I mentioned, it is a stepping stone tour. Guys aren't going to make a lot of money out of it playing in it domestically. The clubs do a fantastic job raising the $40,000. But yeah, we would like to see it grow. We had a meeting with all of the managers of the golf clubs that host these Charles events for us recently. It was a really good get-together of ways which we can increase prize money, because it is very important to grow the tour, and we've got a few ideas in the future that we'd like to see initiated.
Well, Dave, I know that some of those ideas revolve around, I guess, encapsulating the tour and putting it into a schedule rather than just having the one-off events. Has that been something that you've considered? Maybe having the events maybe run a little bit more consecutively and have maybe a tour championship or a completion event that wraps the tour up? Absolutely,
and it's a really good question. You know, since the Charles Tour has started and we've talked about it being a tour, it's been the 2013 or 14 season, and we break for this winter period. So what we'd like to do is change that and have the Charles Tour season run across 2 consecutive years. So start with the Caris Open in September, run through with the last event being the Muriwai Open in May, and then have a tour championship after that. I think that would, you know, encapsulate the Charles Tour to be a great tour.
And I guess, how much involvement do New Zealand golf have in the setup of the golf courses? Because we see Brownie, of course, shooting 59 down there at Tauranga, but then been struggling, I guess, in his events overseas since. Well, how much involvement do you guys have in setting up the golf course to try and create the conditions that the players would expect when they go to play in international tournaments when they're offshore?
Yeah, look, we do have a lot of input in setting up the golf course, and we do want this to be a good test of golf when they do play in these tournaments. The Tauranga golf course is a great golf course. It's a bit short, and I was there when Mark shot the lights out on the back 9, and it was just a fantastic ball striking afternoon. I mean, I don't think it would have mattered how hard we set the course up, where we put the holes or how fast the greens were running. He simply just had the ball on a string and was playing so well that day.
And so we've been talking about the guys and the progress that they've been making. Can you give us some sort of insight of how the development and the progress is helping the women's game? We know now it's life post Lydia. The Kay sisters have certainly been impressive on the Charles Tour. How's it helping the women's progress?
Look, it's a good question. You know, the women's fields are obviously limited. In the Charles Tour, they're not as large as the men. We'd like to see as many women playing in these events as possible. We don't have many professional women in New Zealand, so it is difficult for the amateur girls to track their progress against it. But in rounds 1 and 2, they do get the opportunity to play alongside the men. So they are, you know, given the opportunity to watch the way they play, and hopefully that can help them with their game and their pathway.
Well, we certainly saw Chantal Cassidy play well down there at Harewood. She's still an amateur, but Caroline Bond is a lady professional, and she won, I think, at Muriwai, was it? And Jenna Hunter, of course, got her breakthrough win on the Charles Tour there at Tauranga. So, look, I guess it opens up pathways for if they're going to play offshore, go to qualifying schools, gives them some competition.
Look, and again, that's what it's all about really with the Charles Tour. It's a pathway, it's an opportunity to play in New Zealand at a tournament where we're trying to replicate that professional experience overseas with the Pro-Am on the Wednesday and the 4-round tournament after that.
Well, our thanks to Dave Mangan. Appreciate your time here, Dave. We wish you well with the Charles Tour. It's a very important part of the development of the professional game here and the amateur game, for that matter, in New Zealand for both men and women.